Brandon Jones here from GameTrailers.com. Another fantastic week of trailers. There's nothing I would rather do right now than go to the trailers. So let's do it. Let's all go to the trailers. I'm joined by Mr. Kyle Bossman.
Trailers!
Mr. Daniel Bloodworth.
Hey.
Who gets progressively more excited about trailers every week. You're going to surpass me at some point, Kyle, if you keep this up. GDC this week. PAX East this week. You know, new game announcements. 2 new game announcements to talk about. One which was kind of rumored.
Does PAX East count yet? I mean, we haven't really seen anything that was like, this is the PAX East trailer.
By the time this episode goes up, who knows what will happen this weekend.
Okay.
But lots to talk about and lots of really, really great trailers. Unless you guys have something else to touch on, I say we get right into them.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we should talk about the dynamics of game development.
Yeah, let's get started.
So you all moved in? No, not really.
So I really actually struggled for this this third spot. Rock Band 4 and Wolfenstein were a lock for me. And all of the other trailers that you should check these out this week. We're kind of wrestling for this third tier of something that we would actually discuss at great length and score. And I started out not liking this and ended up being very curious. And so I was curious what you guys thought of the tone. I'm really loving the style of having characters be extremely small.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned below like 3 or 4 times in the last several episodes of Let's Go. Obviously, we want them to feel alone. I actually get kind of an Until Dawn vibe from this. I was like, Are they going to start murdering each other? I'm like, oh, maybe they are. Who knows? But I definitely, feels very desolate, them alone on the beach and kind of getting the scale of how big this environment is that they're encompassing. And I think it's kind of disarming in the beginning and introduces you to the characters, and I predicted that bad things were going to happen. I'm like, we're not just going to sit on the beach and, drink Pepsi all night. We're going to go out and explore things. And I thought, even though that was very predictable, the ending to me, I still found it unsettling. I'm still curious to see more of this game. I'm curious if I'm wrong. What do you think, Kyle?
I really like this trailer. I like it for a couple of reasons. One, disarming is a really good word, Brandon. I too, when this started, was just like, oh, this is just like a dumb teenager game. The voice actors are being kind of like goofy, just like, oh, I speak in an interesting way. Let's all have some sodas. And I really like the radio used early. It's like, hey, can you change the station? Use the radio early on just to change the music. But then that becomes a key component in how they deal with these monsters later on in the trailer. Cool to introduce it in that innocuous way of like, hey, we're just changing the radio station. Again, at the end, she can't find anything on it. Really effective way of rolling out all of the information they want to give you. You start in a happy, goofy place and end up in creeped out. Really cool. Really cool to be able to accomplish that in a trailer, I think.
Yeah, I definitely like it. The beginning especially, I mean, it reminds me kind of like a Where the Wild Things Are or something like that. Just very storybook. I feel like some of these close-ups, I mean, they feel like a different style to me in a way. They're just a little bit more defined, whereas this is, the gameplay is a little bit more, I don't know, impressionistic or something. I definitely got this sense that it was like being really, really social at the beginning, and I like kind of that ability to like have the dialogue trees and stuff. By the end, I definitely got that sense of like being really creeped out by some of the things that you see. I think maybe the predictability is the one thing that it would probably be, because I was just waiting, like, what's gonna happen? I know something's gonna happen. Where is it? And then it almost made me think that it's not, and then it did.
I also like how they don't have to spell things out gameplay-wise. Like, this dial that she's operating to control the radio, like, that's not rocket science. Like, I get that. Okay, I hit a button to bring it up, and then I move it back and forth. Some light platforming being suggested by how they're traversing the world. Like, the early beginnings of, like, maybe puzzle solving, like, operating switches and stuff. But, like, not something where they're like, there'll be fun puzzles for you to solve. It's like, I get it. They just show it. The decision-making, having 3 dialogue options pop up, all that are very different. We see them selecting one. And so when we see her alone at the beach at the end, we wonder, like, can we control who makes it out of this? Can we control who gets infected by these evil radio waves that want to destroy children? And I just like how it's all presented. And I think one thing that I'm proud of us for doing the last couple weeks is honoring gameplay trailers for games that we're not familiar with that do a good job of setting up their story and explaining the dynamics of their game and teasing the dynamics of their game without making it too mysterious and without just pandering to us and just, you know, coming out and explaining everything. But, you know, letting us figure a little bit of it out. Interesting, you were talking about the style of being so close. Do we need to get close to them to identify with them and to feel for these characters? Do we need to see their faces?
I think it was a good idea. I think at that point, yeah, at least to show, hey, these are like a bunch of teenagers who like to come out drinking by a campfire.
Yeah, he's cool.
I was actually quite surprised about, you know, this game having voice acting. Because again, when you see something that's so distant, and it kind of makes you feel like it's simpler in a way. And by having voice acting, it's like, you have voice acting in a game with these little tiny characters? You know, I think that's definitely something that kind of plays with what you might expect.
But I just think a great experiment in scale. It makes the monsters scarier. It makes their world seem lonelier. I give it an 8. I think it's solid. This is what an 8 trailer is for me.
I give this one a 9.6.
Ew!
It does all those things I like about a trailer, particularly, you know, just the way in which it reveals information. Really great. You see one of the monsters a few shots before you see the next one. You know, I always think like you should be escalating each shot, but to show that monster and then to go back to where like they're almost normal again, that's actually very effective in a way of just me as the viewer thinking, did I see that? Everything, revealed in the proper order. I really like it, and of course, always utilizes its music very well.
Yeah, I think the music was pretty well used. I'm giving this one a 7.8. Yeah, I think it's really solid. Like I said, maybe a little bit too predictable, but I don't know exactly how they could have avoided that. But you know, it's like I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one to watch.
Possible freeze frame action here when the Night School studio pops up. And I thought that was going to be the end. When that, like, Triforce first connects, I thought that was going to be the end of...
Yeah, they're maps.
Adjust your tracking.
Adjust your tracking.
Cool. But it's got, like, astrology things going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So just, little subtle clues.
Yeah.
Some Arkham Knight action going on. Well done.
We knew it was coming. It was just kind of figuring out when the right time was. And this feels like the right time to us.
Harmonix taking a lesson from DICE as far as how to sell a game that maybe doesn't exist yet. I don't know. It kind of feels like Star Wars Battlefront. That trailer we got
out this year.
Yeah, supposedly we're getting it this year. There were some rumors, some rumblings of Rock Band returning, and here we go. It's not called, you know, Rock Band Returns. It's Rock Band 4. Like nothing ever happened. Like they didn't hang up their plastic instruments. They're just continuing right on with the franchise, and we get this interesting trailer, which to me is a double-edged sword. On one end, I definitely get the feel that these people are capable of doing a good product. I really appreciate their honesty. It's exciting to get a vision of their workspace, of their process, of the tools that they're using to make the game, and most importantly, of them. Who are these people that are still around at Harmonix, that are still you know, in love with this franchise and they want to keep it going, and why? The flip side to that is it does feel not easy because this documentary style, this is not an easy video to put together. Obviously, a lot of thought had to go into this. But at the same time, are we seeing Rock Band 4? I don't know. Is the game that they're playing Rock Band 4?
It's Rock Band 3, the game they're playing.
Some weird prototype. Like, why were they playing that? You know, why are we going to her desk to eat pastries later? Like, there's just a lot of weird moments that kind of bring down the professionalism of it for me a bit. I don't know why the one guy is put in the corner with all of the arrows pointing out of him. It kind of makes him look like he was in kindergarten and got in trouble or something. It's like, in the corner.
Well, there's that part towards the end, too, where just kind of the dialogue just kind of stops. And, like, you kind of get nothing. And it's like, what? And then they kind of conclude. It's just, it's strange because it feels so, like, it falls apart towards the end.
So I remember the rumors, and I remember thinking, how do you get people excited about a new Rock Band? What would the trailer be? How do you announce it? I think this is a really interesting way. They said, let's not just do some dumb rock and roll thing. Let's show us, and let's talk about the game. Very interesting way to debut the game. Obviously, you know, this documentary it's a film. It even says like documentary or film or whatever, filmed by some company at the end of it, which is funny. It's a choice, you know what I mean? It's at least different. It'll be Guitar Hero, the next Guitar Hero won't announce itself this way, you know, whatever, if that ever comes. So this was a choice. It was unique.
Because I remember seeing Rock Band behind-the-scenes footage, and their office looked better. I mean, am I imagining that, or?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you think that's something they're worried about? Just the studio, the places where they were recording all of the new stuff.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't bother me at all. I think to me, it's cool to get some insight into their vision and like what their process has been over the years and how it's different now, and all of that. But at the same time, it goes on too long, probably twice as long as it should go on.
Yeah.
And in all of that, other than the fact that they are making Rock Band the way they want to make it without anyone else having input, I don't really know that I found out anything about the game.
Well, it seems like the two things they want you to know about this game is that, one, they're working on making it so you can use your old instruments, and two, all of your songs will work. They want to stress that really hard. And so it's funny that those two on-point sales messages are also integrated into this. We're still an indie studio, this feels really exciting and invigorating. And then also hard sales pitches, it's really interesting to have to fill all that in one thing.
Which I guess is a really tough question if you are a developer working on a franchise that people are familiar with and people have expectations wrapped around the next installment of the franchise. Do you really come out and say, hey, we're like you, and we want to make this game too, and so we'll all just get together, kind of Kickstarter mentality, and we're all on the same page. We're no better at this game than you are. We're just all fun musicians, and we're going to get together and play this game. Or no, we want to distance ourselves from you to the Kojima method, to drum up excitement and to make you think that we are more than humans that are capable of making this amazing video game experience. And the part I just talked about can seem cocky sometimes, and the opposite of that, like this, it can seem like they're not. They seem excited, but they seem scared a little bit. I definitely get fear from this trailer.
Definitely.
It's like, is that intentional? Like, do they want me to feel that they're like, I don't know, see if people buy this? Because that's got to be what people are thinking. It's like, how are you going to solve this franchise that has had so many deeply built-in financial woes across the years?
Sure. I mean, the last line of this trailer is, "I hope it does well." That's the last line you chose to emphasize
for a game's debut. That is the beginning of this game's advertising campaign.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
That's a questionable choice, to be honest.
Yeah, because I think that's kind of funny, because I saw somebody really upset and criticizing the thing for not just not saying anything, but being a bunch of marketing speak or whatever. But I didn't really feel like that. It was it was more like they were being possibly a little bit too transparent. It was like nobody's here really catering this message down to a boiling point. They're just kind of leaving things in here and there that give you that sense of apprehension of, okay, well, how good is it going to be? Are you going to be able to pull off all of the how are you going to get stores to stock plastic instruments again? That's one of my questions. So it's curious.
I give this a 7. I don't think this is all that fantastic. They are giving us a lot of information, which is why it's not a 6. There's a lot of opinions in here and a lot of insight into the people that are making this game. They really open up their doors and let you in, and made this a very honest announcement. But like you were saying, there's not a lot of typical things you would learn about a game from a debut that you learn about this. And at the end of the day, I come away more scared for these people than excited about the next Rock Band. I'm excited about Rock Band 4 purely just because of the name. I love these games. I know I'll play this again. There's even times now where I debate God, should I just break out Beatles? That game is so much fun. I've had a lot of really great memories with not only just Guitar Hero, but specifically the Rock Band franchise. And so I'm so excited for another entry. There's just some tone issues that I have, like always, with some of the things that they bring up, and just the vibe of being in the office with them, I think, is a little too direct, a little too like a weird web series. It's just, I don't come away from this being like, well, that's totally going to happen. It's like, well, it's most likely going to happen, and fingers crossed. Like you said, it does well.
So I'll give it an 8, which is a really good score because I think they did something different, and that's basically where that score comes from. Because a lot of it is it's very risky to make yourselves the center, the focus of your video game. It's just like, no, we should make this trailer about us is an insane thing to say. But I think it's an overall success. I think that they don't want us to think of Rock Band as some big corporate, stupid, dumb game. They want us to think it's made by a bunch of people who want to make the game, and they pull that off, and that's where the 8 comes from.
I give it a 6.9. Like I said before, I think it does go a little bit long. It has some little tails here and there that they probably could have cut out. Even though like they're obviously passionate about this to do this, I feel there's a sense that passion doesn't really come across as like, it's like, we're gonna do this, like we believe in this thing. It's like, I feel like if you're gonna revive a dead genre, that you've got to do it with some confidence and saying it's like, yeah, this is what we were made for, and kind of be like a rallying cry. Whereas, yeah, as Kyle said, the ending was just a little bit of a whimper.
And I forgot they start off just like, people are ready for this. People want our game right now. And it's like, well, hold on. I don't know if you can just come out saying people like that.
And finally, more content coming to the game that was almost the GameTrailers.com Best Shooter of 2014.
Is that something we can award? Is the almost awards?
The silver medal. It was so close. Not only a continuation to a really good shooter from last year, even though it is a prequel, a continuation of one of my favorite trailer campaigns of 2014 and 2013. All of the trailers leading up to the most recent Wolfenstein were just fantastic. And this one's a little different. It is playing up the horror film vibe, the kind of giant spider walking through canyons shot in the Hollywood Hills with cheesy acting and evil laboratories and stuff like that, which to me is easy. I like the style, I like the gameplay, I'm curious about this game, it makes me want to play the game, but just the music and the font and everything just kind of seemed like a very obvious pick for the time period and for the genre. So it didn't jazz me as much as their old trailers did, which is like, like, what if the Nazis won? What would that mean to music? What would that mean to popular style? What would that mean to all these historical events? That was such an enormous well of creative ideas to draw from, that this one's like, the font, okay, I see what you're doing. I kind of got the style 5 seconds into it and then just kind of enjoyed it, as opposed to their old trailers, which were always full of surprises. And a fun ending here, which leaves opens up some interesting questions about where is he at and who is he fighting and what are all the elements bringing this together. I sure hope he doesn't die in this. Prequel humor. What do you think, Kyle?
I like it. I get what you're saying, big time. It's kind of just like new weapons, new enemies. Like you can be like hey, this is part of our parody. It's like, no, it's not. Like that's the way you're selling us new weapons and new enemies, and it's cheap. That's a cheap thing to do, is say we got new enemies in the game. I really like the use of, they'll show the pipe. You're basically using the same 2 pipes throughout this entire game, it seems like. I like seeing that recurring. I don't know if it's just recurring naturally through the game itself, but it's nice to use it throughout the trailer. I like that. I think it's our super cheap use of the Wilhelm scream. like dirty. Like I already hate. It's become like less of a cute little nod and Easter egg, and now it's just kind of like we have to put it in somewhere. And when you make it that deliberate, I'm just always sneering at you, like a little too overt. But yeah, I mean, I think the game is too exciting to be for the trailer not to be exciting. And the end, man, that's such a good ending.
I really enjoyed this. I didn't think too hard about it. I feel like this is a little bit more of a throwback for older Wolfenstein fans, like in more ways than one, and that really comes across. And I like the Munster style font and did you do this kind of sawed off thing in the previous Wolfenstein? Or is this a new thing?
I don't know if you modded your weapons or if you had.
Yeah. I mean, it's just interesting to see that as a mechanic, and I'm curious as to what kind of, if the player is actually doing anything in that moment.
But those story moments actually were some of my favorite bits from Wolfenstein. And the story in general was one of the things that really excited me about that. Which actually kind of pulls the wind for me a little bit out of this trailer sales. That, they're like, get ready for this expansion / standalone game where you get to infiltrate Castle Wolfenstein and lose. because they lose, right?
Yeah.
The beginning of the, spoiler alert of the beginning of the other game, you are attacking Castle Wolfenstein in that opening, and you lose that time. So it's like, it's just kind of one of those things where, like, I'm not going to be nervous about Blazkowicz making it out of this, because I know he does.
Yeah, I was actually
I'm
very surprised
not really
going to
keep my fingers crossed that we topple Castle Wolfenstein, because I know they don't. Or maybe it's in another dimension, I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of surprises yet in store.
But that's definitely, I think that's fair to bring up. That's not implied. It's implied it's the same world. Before the New Order, there was the Old Blood.
7.7. It's okay. It's cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, right. That's a 7.5 in my book. Right, that's just like, hey, you did a good job.
One of those that, like, the game I'm super excited for. The trailer itself was the trailer.
Right, yeah, but I mean, it's still a good trailer. It makes everyone who would want this game want it, and so you did a good job.
Yeah, I actually gave this a 8.3, so.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And definitely, appreciated, like, all the quick weapon shots, like the pipes and all that, so. Fun trailer.
Alright, those are our 3 major trailers of the week. Coming up, we're going to watch a debut trailer that was suggested by Mr. Daniel Bloodworth, who dropped in an email. He's like, wait, I got an email for a game called Paradise Never. What was it about Paradise Never that said to you,
Oh, it wasn't that.
watch?
It was the PR person that sent it. She writes ridiculous emails, and this one, she's like, oh, this one's got the feels. I need a hug or something like that, so.
We're
It's like,
about to feel
okay,
some
we're going to
emotions.
find out if this really has the feels.
Prepare to feel something. Would you want to play a game called Paradise Never? Don't you want to get to paradise eventually?
Yeah, so maybe scary?
Maybe scary. So you may be scary. What do you think? Paradise Never. Not knowing anything at all.
I think my impression of what Paradise Never is going to be, it's an indie game. It's like about a relationship, maybe with a mother.
Well, there's a boat and a song. And, okay, I guess that's a person? Is that a shovel?
This is English? I guess not. Well, this little guy knows where he's going.
Yeah.
There's no question. He's...
Oh, here we go.
Devolver.
Okay.
The revolution fails.
Why
no.
did you put your bars away? You gotta keep them up.
We're in France. I got English here.
Okay.
Maybe some stealth action, or are those your friends there?
Looks like a chase to me, but...
We're seeing a lot of HUD right now, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole map there.
No feels so far. Any feels? Any feels?
I'm not feeling feels, to be honest.
A little lost, actually.
It's like Minecraft, but from really far away. With like,
what's with the
Zelda's in
handwriting
this?
on
What's
the people's
happening?
names? And
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Here we go.
It's like Just Cause all of a sudden.
new quest.
Okay. What?
Is that a multiplayer? What's going on?
There, that'll teach you. They're fighting.
Yeah, is this multiplayer at all, or is it just one person? I see names, but they're all like standard character names. They're not
Yeah,
like
they're
user
probably
names.
just characters.
Right, it seems very story focused still.
Bird? What? What?
You've talked to birds before. Don't pretend you haven't, Bled.
Only owls.
So, walking around, meeting people,
Die, you miserable creature.
blowing up things,
Year of
clicking
water?
on random items.
Oh, you died.
What?
Everyone has regrets, and sometimes it feels like we're a product of our own mistakes.
Whoa.
What is
We have
happening?
the audacity to take a chance to act in our own interests. If we had kept quiet, given something up for someone else's protection,
I'm so confused.
You're
a
back.
chance to do things over could seem like a miracle. That with our good intentions, we could change everything.
Like, I wanted to check if I had a browser open. Like that,
Yeah,
It
I did
doesn't seem
too.
like the audio is from this trailer at all. I was not even paying attention to all of what that guy said. I'm so confused right now.
Okay.
Oh, man.
All right.
What else did Devolver do?
Well, they've done all
Devolver's,
kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Indie publisher. They're killing it right now.
Okay.
Okay.
There's no wait at all. Like, I wasn't scared for anybody. I wasn't... The feels? Are you kidding? With the feels of what?
Right.
Wow. I mean, you got to do your job. You work in PR, you got to do your job. You got to think, I mean, imagine you're a PR person, you got this in front of you. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you do? How do you tell somebody? Just you absolutely have to watch this. Little did they know, I watch everything. The revolution fails.
Immediate tip right there.
After the revolution
is when we saw the name, there was like the red bars were there. I'm cool with those. Just keep them up. Don't take them away and then put them back up again. That was a weird choice there. I feel like a lot of the dialogue isn't up for long enough to read, and so it kind of seems like it's just there for us to see. Oh, the bird's still talking. Keep it up long enough to read. Would be my recommendation there.
But it's just, I just feel like you're just running around like Minecraft, just like smashing random stuff.
True, that's what we see first.
Yeah.
Like, you make a game like Minecraft if you have a really interesting gameplay mechanic and you don't really care about the visuals of the game because you have really good physics or world building or whatever.
Yes.
And you make a game isometric so that it can look better. So why is it an isometric Minecraft game? Not that it plays like Minecraft, because obviously there's all this dialogue and item customization, and which you can't do in Minecraft. But wow, I have so many questions.
Yeah.
There's some shots in here that just like don't belong in the trailer. Like, we're watching the bird speak too much. Like, it's funny that first time because Blood's like, "What, a bird?" and then we see it talk 2 more times. But also just that shot where they're walking up the hill and then they just punch somebody, and it's like, why did you pick that? Why?
Yeah, it's every time I have an expectation about this game, or I think it's steering itself in one direction, it doesn't. So like, I start out and I see the boat and I wonder, like, okay, we're going on a journey. And then the guy gets out and he's walking and it's like, wow, we've discovered an island. No, people already live here. And then you like meet those people and it's like, oh, we need to help them. And it's like, no, they just seem to want to follow you around and stuff. And it's like, oh, well, maybe we're trying to solve some mystery. It's like, no, not really. Like, we don't know anything about us. Like, we are no character as far as I'm concerned. The person that we're actually, way more focus is put on the people that we're talking to. So I guess the big vibe I get out of it is that there really is no story, and that there's just kind of the inhabitants of this place, and you just go around and talk to them and do stuff with them. So maybe that's the sell, that it's like, this world is what you make of it. You see the one building like burning down, so it's like, oops, you burnt that building down.
Okay, so I think here's what I would do. If you want to do the song, if you want to make a feels trailer, I would not do as many dialogue screens. I wouldn't do as many silly, like, let's go bop some guy with our shovels scenes. I would show much less of the game. If you want to show off your gameplay, I wouldn't use this song at all. I would choose something else entirely to kind of show, hey, this is how the game works. This trailer is really trying to put a lot of, show us a lot and give us the entirety of maybe too much.
And I'm not interested in the slightest. Kyle, are you gonna check out this game?
I think this is a case of trailer being worse than the game. I think there might be a cool game in here.
I think the same thing. I feel very much like the game could actually be much more interesting story-wise and everything than what we're getting out of this, because I can't actually follow a story from this trailer.
Part of me wants to give it below a 5, but I'll just stop there at a 5, because there is a lot of stuff happening here. I can't. It's a 4.8. No, it's below 5. Yes. It's below 5.
You broke the barrier.
That's fine. Yeah, I had to. This is 4.8. Yeah. Whatever you did, not working at all for me whatsoever. I'm angry. It's making me angry. Wow. Because there's just a cockiness to it, And I don't like when trailers get cocky. I don't like it, because that to me seems like your message is you're thinking one thing about your game and you're selling a totally different thing, and then people are perceiving a different thing, and like, that's not what you want. You want everybody to be on the same page. And this seems like some huge inside joke that I'm just not privy to, or something that happened, some other game that they made that I didn't experience, or some key mechanic that is just not popping up.
And then spoken dialogue at the end of like the miracle of getting a second chance. So I don't think it's arrogance. I think it might just be like misdirection. I don't know if they know what they did here with this trailer, but I also think it's dreadful. I'll give it a 3.5. I think it's doing the game a disservice.
I guess I'll go with 4.5. I don't know. It's. I feel like the main thing I feel from it is confusion. Tonal confusion and gameplay confusion, and just all around.
And that's what dropped me below a 5. Is when I watch trailers, I'm always like, okay, let's brainstorm this. Let's try to make this trailer better. No idea how to make your trailer better because I don't know what your game is. 4.8.
Yeah. Because it's it's the song, and I think the dialogue are aiming to be very serious, but then you see this now die, you miss it. Like, that's not.
I don't get anything serious from this at all. But then it's got this serious thing. I'm going to score lower if I keep talking about it. Let's move on. Another trailer that I thought kind of missed the mark, that stylistically was interesting, but I didn't really get into, was Blues and Bullets, which somebody hit me up on Twitter and told me to check out. Thank you very much. Love the style, love the idea. Very smart in any kind of like an adventure game or puzzle-solving game to have all of the items you can interact with being one color. Sure. So I like that, you know, they're definitely playing up the red, you know, amidst all of the black and white. And stylistically, there's a lot of things I do want to like about this trailer, but it just kind of fell flat for me at the end. But interesting style, interesting game, kind of something you,
it kind of threw me out of it when I saw gunplay, honestly. It was like, oh.
Really loud.
I was kind of disappointed to see gunplay, which I
cut to a very abrupt action sequence.
Yeah, actually, when this trailer started, I was like, oh, they're being smart here. They're deaccentuating their bad character models. And then once you see them animate and say, hey, let's go into this room, you see how like bad their character is. And like, you gotta, it was smart when you're hiding it, basically.
Elite Dangerous had their slow-mo trailer. Every now and then a game comes along and they're like, we going slow-mo on this one? We're going slow-mo. Okay, let's do it. We're going slow-mo. And I think it worked for Elite Dangerous. I know it's kind of cheesy whenever you can tell a trailer's doing that like 10 seconds into it. But I thought it worked for Elite Dangerous because you have a lot of different elements that go into, you know, presumably I have not played Elite Dangerous, into the combat in this game. And I like freezing that moment, kind of showing who's targeting who, showing the detail of the effects, which granted it's not like the most gorgeous space shooter I've ever seen in my entire life. And most specifically, I like the end where everything slowly ramps up and then you just see the guy taking off into the environment. And that seemed like a very welcoming invitation. It was just like, okay, follow that guy, go. You know, like you see all this carnage and all these people targeting each other and all of these, you know, these power plays happening in this one, you know, moment that's playing out a very long period of time. I got excited. Not excited enough to actually go out and purchase Elite Dangerous, but that one little moment worked on me. Did that? Did you dig it? You tired of slow-mo?
I think they could have done the escalation a little better of like choosing which shot goes where. Like even before we speed up, there is one semi-sped up shot of things actually shooting. Like you see lasers hitting somebody, and then we go back to slow motion again. Like that was weird. You know, choose your shots always. But yeah, good idea for a trailer.
Because this is something that people are already familiar with. Like even if we haven't played it, you know, it's been a bit of a buzz for the past month or two. They're just announcing that, hey, you guys that have heard about this, you haven't played it on PC yet. It's also coming to Xbox One. You know, and it's sort of a celebration. They've already got it out there. If you want to find out about it, you can go watch it on Twitch or something. So it's, you know, hey, here it is. Get excited. It's coming to you.
Everyone is already excited about League of Legends, and what we've discovered is that every now and then one of their new characters or old characters is going to get a random either CG or hand-drawn or some combination of the two story trailer that I don't feel at all is attempting to sell League of Legends. Like I literally think this is just a gift, like to their fan base, to people that are into these characters. It's kind of like how if you're making a commercial and you want to like, you know, you throw in like, well, hey Bob, and you know, like all the Bobs out there are gonna get so excited because they feel like they're talking directly to me because they used my name. As a Jones, I always appreciate that people will just like throw in Jones because they're like, oh, it's just a popular name. And I'm like, oh, it's being marketed. I want to get that sandwich. That's being marketed straight to me. And what if Bard is like your guy? What if that is your guy? I don't know if this is a new or old character for League of Legends, but Bard got his own trailer. Who knows what's going on?
In a way, I almost feel like it's it's like an inverse of Smash Brothers. Whereas like Smash Brothers, you have all these characters that, you know, came from their own worlds and their own different stories and backgrounds, and then you bring them together and put some kind of ridiculous context around it. Just so you can have a fighting game. League of Legends, it's like the opposite. It's like, okay, you've got this game where all these characters are fighting. There's no real reason for these characters. They're just variety. It's like, okay, let's make backstories for them now.
But the thing is, like, actually, I really like that idea, and I like that they're all in different animation styles. It's kind of like anime style. I think that's really cool. However, like League of Legends, we saw Legend of Bard. The Bard is a man who picked up a glowing egg and poured it away somewhere. Like, that's the legend we saw. He didn't do anything.
Which is why I don't want to score these.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, to me, I really don't think this goes I really don't think this is extremely effective at just blowing up the sales of League of Legends. Like, they don't have a problem with that. And if they did, I don't think they would make media like this to combat, like, you know, dropping numbers or dropping traffic. So I just want them to keep doing what they're doing, you know? Like, if they make one that just totally misses and I don't dig it, you know, Sad Mummy or Bard or whatever comes next.
I'd say tell a story. Use this opportunity to tell a story about your character, because I think it is a really cool idea.
I just don't think you get the story, Kyle.
The story is he grabs it and ports away. He is the least interesting character in this thing.
But grabs what? And ports where? You know these things if you've played as Bard, I'm guessing. MAGICKA 2 had a release date trailer, which, I don't know if I've ever spoken about this, but sometimes it's tempting to make bad music for a trailer, intentionally, to be like, you know that song that you like? We're doing a bad version of it. I get that, and sometimes that can work, but if you are producing bad sound, whether that's bad voiceover or bad sound effects or bad music, I don't want to listen to it. So MAGICKA 2, the release date trailer, did a take on the Game of Thrones opening theme, and it sounded bad. I didn't want to keep listening to it. I get that was the joke. I get that they were doing a bad rendition of that song, but bad music's bad music. So you're nodding. You agree, Kyle?
Absolutely.
Bad music.
I feel like their whole campaign has been this way. You know,
super
from
jokey,
the first
yeah.
MAGICKA even. It's like trying to be B-movie funny, and then just like, oh, we just kind of missed it. Just kind of went over that cliff.
It is different, at least. It does differentiate.
The vampire voice.
I think they missed it big time. This didn't even hit the backboard. This went straight into the crowd.
Yeah.
And finally, Unreal Engine 4 showed the creation of Kite Man, who, if you aren't familiar with this character, his parents were murdered in a dark alley in a major metropolitan Gothic city. And then he went out and befriended a kite who took him to the Kite Cave, where he then built the Kite Mobile and the Kite Computer.
I'd like everyone to know this is officially Brandon's first troll on the show.
I've trolled before.
No, that was like a Damiani-esque hardcore troll.
What I want to know about this trailer is the pop-in intentional?
No.
Ooh, okay, I gotta go back.
Like, you'll see some shadows pop in, yeah.
You see trees pop, like right after the kite flies over the deer, you see trees pop in before it goes up the cliff. And I'm like, is that a limitation of your engine, or did you put it in there so people would say, oh, it's gotta be real?
I think I can see that. I wouldn't make the call that it necessarily is that, but I can totally see that, because that, to me, I remember seeing Deep Down for the first time, and I was like, there's no way this is gameplay. This looks way too good. And Marco Rosado, who's not working at GT anymore, pointed out like that there's some clipping going on, and there was some actually like some errors done in that animation, and that is an interesting sell. You know, granted, you know, Deep Down was selling a game, and this is for Unreal Engine 4, so this is selling an engine, so maybe the rules are different if you're showing off the performance of your product and not necessarily your game's environment.
I think what's crazy to look at this is by looking at it by the Unreal demos we had from 2 and 3 years ago. You know, we're used to seeing knights in armor just like shattering their lava axes, and like some cool sci-fi dude smoking a cigarette. Basically, I think they're appealing to indies with this aspect of like, here's a story of a little boy who's like chasing his kite. You like this, don't you, indies? Like, to me, it's like that. I think they're trying to like advertise to like indie developers, and it seems a little weird to me.
I thought the kid was going to be Milo. I thought he was going to like run into the cave and there's Peter Molyneux. It's like, welcome home, Milo. Did he look like Milo? He was kind of like in the forest Milo was in?
He was a little cartoony, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. But that would be interesting, actually, if like maybe Unreal partnered with animation houses, with someone like a Pixar or Disney or Blue Sky, or like these people who are producing you know, really good Oscar-nominated animated shorts to kind of cross that bridge. They're like, well, we got this engine, we want to show it off. Are there any stories that you guys want to tell that maybe we can partner on this?
Brandon, that's a really good idea. Because really, we just saw a kid chase a kite.
Right.
Yeah. That's
so
a terrific
it
idea.
was interesting, but I think there's something, I don't know, they're just tapping at something here that they could actually make something that completely stands on its own. That's like, is this a short film? Is it a trailer? Is it just a demo of a graphics engine? It's all those things and more. That's exactly what you want out of a trailer. So yeah, trailer of the week, probably Wolfenstein, I guess.
Yeah.
My vote's for Oxenfree, but I respect your decisions.
I might go with you, Kyle. I might go with Oxenfree. Yeah, I think I like Oxenfree most. I liked League of Legends. I thought was great, even though it didn't make a heck of a lot of sense. And Elite Dangerous was cool, but didn't have any writing in it. It was just all music and cool effects and stuff. All that trailer could have been made by one dude, where Oxenfree was a lot of people coming together. trailer of the week. What do you think, Blood?
I'll stay with Wolfenstein.
All right. Wolfenstein, the old Bloodworth, and 2 votes for Oxenfree. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Bloodworth.
Thank you.
Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Hope you have a lovely week, and we will see you soon.